Have you seen Stone Cold Steve Austin's shape as of lately? That dude's
So,
still massive. He
yeah,
looks great. He
yeah.
feels like $1 million. Like you see him playing with his cats in his ranch and being just a cat dad.
Mm.
But you see that he has that bug inside his veins. Like at any moment, he can do one or two more matches, just like he did with Kevin Owens. Something sort of
Yeah.
a street fight kind of nature that you can work. And man, a match with Punk will be a
Oh,
hell of a
that's
scenario.
yeah. What is going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of Unscripted. I'm here with two of my favorite guests of this unscripted show. I mean, they're like the cousins with keys to my house. That's essentially where we're at now. We're officially there. We have Michael Morales Torres and Hugo Savinovich. How are y'all doing?
Tangana, we are the three amigos here
Yes.
with Sportskeeda and Lucha Libre Online. The night recap. Here we go. We keep it real.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So let's talk about this Netflix era. We're going into this Netflix era this coming Monday as of this show, which will be Tuesday night Eastern time, and so we're 6 days away from the big era on Netflix. We got a big stacked card for this mini mania type of deal. We got the Intuit Dome, LA. We've got CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. We've got Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa for the Ulafala. We've got Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. We've got Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. We've got some bangers, man. What?
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.
We'll start with you, Michael. What match are you looking forward to the most? And do you think there'll be any swerves going on with this premiere episode?
More than the matches, man. It's the biggest Raw of all time. 32 years being broadcasted, live television coming to an end this Monday. And we're entering a digital era that costed around $5 billion for 10 years Netflix. So we're talking about a huge economic deal. That means that the company has more money to put into their product as well. So more than the matches, I'm very interested to see the production. What upgrades are they doing? The fireworks. Who are they bringing as surprise guests right now? Everybody wants to be a part of Netflix for sure. And the numbers that they're going to put into the table, like compared with the NFL, 30 million plus, the Jake Paul fight with Mike Tyson, like 6 million.
Yeah.
So hopefully, production-wise, WWE can deliver to bringing that weekly kind of entertainment, because Netflix, everybody's there. Everybody wants to see it. So yeah, I'm more interested than the matches. I want to see the product itself, like fireworks, the scenography, everything, scenario.
Yeah. Out of those matches, which one are you looking forward to the most?
Oh man, the way that show ended on Raw, the half shoot going into the script, into the creative part of hearing Seth repeating what was off air, legit calling CM Punk a cancer, and seeing his veins pop. You know, the question is it acting or is it coming from the guts? Because I remember being there when filming a commercial for SummerSlam. Batista and Booker T went at it because Batista didn't show respect for Booker T, and they went the commercial setting. They went on for like 4 minutes and they destroyed each other's face. So I know what it is to have personal issues, but I saw Vince tell the two of them, you're going to be on a European tour, so either you guys get it together or the two of you are fired. So
we're not like somebody's backyard back pool or something like that.
Yeah, they're filming the SummerSlam thing, and no one expected it. So just looking at the aspect of two guys that really didn't like each other, and yet perhaps with this new era, digital era, and everybody, you know, when you have the capacity of so many languages have the ability to go live for like 200 countries. And I always base this, and I tell Michael and my people that with all the success that TKO, UFC, WWE have, and all this money, and they keep breaking records, and another sold out, and this and that, the fan base, the ratings for Raw or SmackDown, if we just stay with Raw, those 10 million available fans that were there on the Attitude Era, they have not returned, and they have not been able to build that type of an audience. So I think Netflix gives them the opportunity to let the crowd say, holy, whatever, without being censored for, and our fans are creatures, and they don't like to be told what to say or what not to say. So I think the production is going to be like, how do you balance what Triple H said? We're going to bring you the best entertainment, and yet you don't want to disappoint those fans, plus the ones that were not watching and that will be watching, and the Netflix audience. I don't know how much money you guys paying, but whatever you're paying, I believe next few months they'll hit you with another raise. You'll be stuck with commercials too. So the magic is going to be on how to keep episodic minds. The creative. Well, I've been hearing that they say that they're not going to be like every line has to be said on a promo. And tonight's Punk and the way Punk and Rollins did it, I think that's natural. When you get to know your characters, your wrestlers, males or females, you know each one, and you know when it's a Vince or a Triple H feeding them with a creative team, lines that make no sense. So that to me is the magic of January 6th. They have a singer or a rapper as a guest. I agree with Michael. With tonight, they had like a little thing of maybe Cero Miedo or Penta will be appearing on it. So I believe that would be like the right place to hit somebody like Brock Lesnar at the end of the show. I mean, you just don't deliver the card. You gotta deliver, and then you gotta boom, hook me for the next one.
Interesting. Yeah. Speaking of surprises, what do you think? What do you think, Michael? What surprise do you think? I've been told that there's been no discussions of touching Brock Lesnar with the 98 or 89.5-foot pole, whatever the Grinch song says, and so we'll see where that goes in 2025 if that changes. But when it comes to surprises, what do you think like the big thing is going to be, Michael, that's going to lead us into like, oh man, okay, this was a banger, we've got to watch next week?
It's gotta be Rock, man. It's gotta be Rock. What's bigger than the biggest guy that came into wrestling and made this a big deal, and then do a transition to Hollywood and became a huge deal as well inside that industry? And he's just a megastar, one of the most followed people on Instagram and several social medias. Now popular again thanks to Moana 2, among many other movies that he's doing. The one that's on Amazon Prime, I forgot, Red Dawn, I believe. That's something like that. That's the one.
And let me interrupt you there for a minute, and then add to that John Cena, another Hollywood star, right there.
Yeah, yeah. So, where do you think that this will lead us when it comes to the Royal Rumble? So, as of now, the WWE doesn't have Rock in their cards for WrestleMania. Do we hotshot this thing and do Rock Roman at Royal Rumble? Perhaps is that, or do you save it for next year's Mania if Rock isn't on the cards this year?
Not necessary. Like, you can just present the Rock as you did in Bad Blood, and people will just go nuts. It's a special appearance. Take it as it is. Basically, how can we improve something that's good? Let's add this on top. This is the cherry on top of the cake, basically. So. It doesn't have to lead anyway right now, but if it leads to Rock and Reigns and build like a proper long-term storyline for next year, then for sure I'll be more than interested to see it. If it delays a year and a half, 2 years, like, it doesn't matter. If you want to plant the seed, that's a good place to do it.
Yeah, do you, with the with the swarm of so many wrestling fans that is the large kind of data set of what we have now, there's always that, let's fantasy book something that we see or thought we saw, and let's just kind of wistful think or glamorize this thing. And so they were even doing that, when Rock came back at Bad Blood and just showed up, and that was 2 months ago. And so they're taking that with, okay, let's do something. The Rock is going, this is breadcrumbs, or this is seeds planted to Rock Roman, right? If Rock just shows up again on Netflix and there's nothing else with that, he already did that. Do you think that would draw a stench to the crowd as far as The Rock just showing up? Do you think he will lose his luster if he just shows up and nothing comes from it?
Yeah, I believe that if he shows up, he's gonna kick some butt. I mean, because you're starting a new era, and you gotta make it for the fans and the new fans. Remember, we're talking about people that were not even used to watching a boxing fight, that watched that Tyson, Paul's bout. So to me, it's a great opportunity to use somebody like The Rock or John Cena, who, even if you don't know their wrestling history and they were the faces of the WWE, WWF, whatever, just the fact of their name, the Hollywood persona, it don't have to be too long, but just enough that you will see them on TMC the next day on all this media, because to me, that is like once in a lifetime opportunity of the difference between having success on Netflix or really having the moment, like it happens. Saturday night's main event came right at the moment to give that aura of when the product was so hot that NBC had it on Saturday night. So I think now it's like, oh, they're so hot, they're on Netflix. And look, on this card, you have from Hollywood superstar, you have The Rock, you have John Cena. Even if we're not even contemplating, they have the money, and they're Netflix. They're part of TKO also, so they could get a guy like Goldberg, Hogan, Batista. It don't have to be more than 2 minutes. It's Netflix. You're creating a spectacle that gives you the opportunity of doing things live, without a director doing 100 different cuts. So I think that's a great opportunity to do something. And if it's true what Triple H promised the fans, he has to deliver. And also, they gave The Rock the name. He owns the rights, the creative rights for The Rock. He owns the name. But he was supposed to come in for the branding. And there's not a bigger moment than branding than on Netflix.
Yeah. You think you got to do something, right? You got to do something bigger than what we see every week now, because you're really trying to bridge that gap between what you were talking about, Hugo, that 10 million viewers that we had, 25 years ago. And even during the Ruthless Aggression era, there was still it was still high, about 6 or so. And so you have about a 4 to a 4.5 million drop over the past 20 years. You got to think of something that's going to bridge that gap. And who can they bring in? The Rock would definitely be somebody. Who else could they bring in to really bridge that gap? And could that person be a part of an angle since it's WrestleMania season to keep those people in? You got an idea, Mike?
Have you seen Stone Cold Steve Austin's shape as of lately? That dude's still massive. He looks great. He feels like $1 million. Like, you see him playing with his cats in his ranch and being just a cat dad. But you see that he has that bug inside his veins. Like, at any moment, he can do 1 or 2 more matches, just like he did with Kevin Owens, something sort of a street fight kind of nature that you can work. And man, a match with Punk will be a hell of a scenario.
I was just about to say that. So that's interesting, because it seems that the money's on Punk Roman right now. If Rock is not in the cards, but I mean, you don't want this to get into like the Sting Taker too little too late type of deal, right? So like there's so many years, it's like, okay, the dream match is Sting versus Taker. The dream match that never happened. You got two of them typically. As far as what people talk about, you've got Sting Taker, you've got Austin Brock. That's typically the two that people. It's never happened. Dream match. There's other what like people said. Was it Michaels and Rock is another one that people talk about. But when it comes to any of those dream matches that never happened, one match that really is very plausible of happening still would be a Steve Austin versus CM Punk. Wow. So it's like, think about the build of an Austin versus Punk. I mean, you had that Jim Ross interview at that, at that whatever event center it was when they had, and it was a tease, and this was. What was this? 2016, maybe 2015. It was a long time. Well, it was even before. It was a while ago when they teased that. It was Austin because Punk left in 14. He left the Royal Rumble 14, and so I think they were teasing Austin Punk before then, weren't they? And so, and that's when Jim Ross was still there. So it's been at least a decade in the making as far as this tease between Austin and Punk. And if there's one year that you kind of want to explore that option, it would be. So let's go with that for a second, Michael. So if that were to be a thing, do you do just a two straight shooting baby face kind of promo battles type of thing that you're doing that you did with Austin, or that you did with Seth and Punk, to a different way? Because Austin wouldn't be like shooting, but he's a gimmick, but he's a straight shooting gimmick. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be necessarily promo, a face-off promo type of deal. It would be two good promo workers there. Do you make anybody a heel in that dynamic?
It's got to be a shoot between the two of them, and Punk's got to be the heel.
Okay.
Punk is a great and outstanding heel. Also is Austin, but who will hate Steve Austin?
Right.
Nobody. It's impossible. Punk, he can be a jack, the word. In terms of bad press that he got and bad PR in his AEW days with locker room stuff and being toxic and being a diva, among other things that were said about him that afterwards in WWE was proved to be just the wrong environment for him. He's now with him. But making him deal with a real story between the two of them shooting each other, that's money, man. That's great money.
Agreed. Yeah. What do you think?
And if you really do want to shock the fans with special makeup, there's a way that you could do AJ, CM Punk's wife, be in the audience and have them brawl close to the first row and have this unknown female just jump on Stone Cold, and then boom, up comes the hat or whatever, and there is AJ, who hasn't returned to WWE, and now you have a villain with this famous lady wrestler that hasn't come back to WWE, and then you already have your villain or two villains against Stone Cold, who's never been really a babyface. He's been an ass-kicker babyface, but then you have more than just Punk and Stone Cold. You have AJ in the corner of CM Punk, and it's not an actress doing that. It's the real wife of CM Punk. I think it's right now, you could go wild with this because as hard, just like I was telling the Spanish fans, the problem with, like an example, KO and Cody Rhodes, it's so hard to get KO to be the heel because he is so over with the fans already. You crossed that boundary already. So you're gonna have to do it on what creative angles you do with them, but never expect those times of big villains to be like before, because there were squashes. Now they're all big, powerful names, and the heels. I think today in our society, heels are loved more than baby faces. So it is a very difficult space for the babyface. You cannot make him too noble, and you cannot make him too much the other way. But I think Punk, with the right angle, like I explained to you, they want to see his wife come back. I don't think she should come back as a babyface, but that would be the right opportunity to bring her back and just shock the fans.
Yeah.